I apologize, everyone. I cannot see anyone other than myself. Can everyone see me? Okay, perfect. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and go along with the screen. I apologize for the late. There were some issues with Zoom. Let me get this ball rolling. Okay, can everyone see that? Please speak up if you have a mic. When I share my screen, it does not show the chat. Okay, excellent. Okay. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. I am Lieutenant Garrison from the NROTC Unit. This will be a brief overview of the NROTC program that is part of the Corps Cadets. If you have any questions, we have contact info at the end of the slide, or if you have any immediate things, just try and throw them in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. All right, so just so everyone's aware, NROTC is a program part of the Corps Cadets, but we also have a specific guidelines as far as Navy goes. So while our members will be doing active duties and be a member of the Corps Cadets, they are also part of the NROTC, which requires specific Navy requirements such as classes or physical standards, things that the other branches may have different standards for. So CEO's vision, the main purpose of the ROTC is that we primarily are for unrestricted line officers, which is right here. So there are options for restricted line officers, but we'll talk about that in a second. The main ones are submarine warfare, naval pilots and NFOs, surface warfare officers, special forces, and of course the Marine Corps. So we focus on academics, professional development, and physical fitness. So these are everything that the Corps cadets and the students are measured up in or fall under one of those three categories. So like I said earlier, this is some of the non-restrictive options, which is not what NROTC does primarily. There are a few limited abilities such as medical, normally they would come in, go through NROTC, and then maybe get accepted to a medical school, in which case the Navy would consider sending them there and then having them go that route. But the ones listed here are all restricted line officers, which is not what the NROTC program focuses on. So these are just some of the numbers over the last couple of years as far as scholarships go. As you can see, we have had several national scholarships for the graduates, varying across all the different fields. You know, pilots, subs, well, it kind of varies depending on each year to the needs of the Navy and what each student applies for. But we're pretty consistent. So side loads are basically if they come in not already with a scholarship, they could apply for. Usually that is run through the staff. We will recommend students, and then it's a scholarship that will get picked up. Normally it's 3 or 2 years, which once they get picked up and approved for, it's the same thing as a normal scholarship. As you can see, we have those standards there. Generally, most students don't have any issues of meeting those. For the most part, it's merely a matter of availability and making sure that we can get all the candidates submitted and then hoping they get approved and picked up later on. But it does give them options, so if they don't get picked up for the 3-year side load, they still have the 2-year side load and a few other options later on. So last year's was, we had 250 applicants, As you can see, we had a very high percentage of picking up those. So it's a good chance that people do well and work hard towards those applications. There's a good chance that they would get picked up. As well as our second 2 years, as you can see here, even a higher percentage that got picked up. Advanced standing is also another option, and that all has probably the highest acceptance rate. But it's usually done after if you're not picked up for the 3 or 2 year side load. Some program benefits, brief overall is tuition, books, allowances, uniforms, such as that nature. Uniforms are usually paid for even if you're not on scholarship, since it is a requirement while you're on the Corps Cadets. And now, as you can see, a comment, walk away. So that, unfortunately, is not a easy answer, but briefly, yes, you can. You can always walk away at any time before graduation. However, the cost of walking away will vary depending on when and under what program you fall under. If you're a scholarship, there's a little leeway in the beginning of what you are required to pay. Generally in the first year, they're pretty lenient, but after your freshman year, and then depending on at what point you're on the program, if you do walk away, if you choose to say no, you usually have to pay back most of what the Navy has given you as far as financial. Okay. All right, so I have a question where it says, what would restrict you from applying for NROTC? Why wouldn't you pick up an applicant? So usually somebody wouldn't get picked up if they didn't meet the basic requirements. That would involve in the physical fitness, GPAs, things like that. And then even if they do meet those, what will go into the application is availability. We only have so many available slots in the program, and once we fill those slots with, there's not really room for anyone else. So even if someone else doesn't meet the bare requirements, they wouldn't get in. Thankfully, most of the applicants, a very high percentage, usually get in because at least at Virginia Tech, we have a lot of applications. We have a lot of room to have a lot of students in that program. But that varies depending on the campus, and I know some campuses have much smaller programs than others. It's the relationship between the school and then as well as the demand in that area. But that would be something that would work out through the recruiter as far as getting those specific details for the application. Okay. So ProLab is a Navy development class that is given once a week that goes over big Navy training. It allows for them to get introduced sort of in a piecemeal way to what Navy officer and the Navy life as a general is goes over, and then before they hit the fleets. 5 years and summer commitments in summer school. So those can get paid for by the Navy. It depends on the program, the degree, and whether or not it gets approved. Students usually submit a 5-year plan, usually early on, depending on their course work and the degree of which they're going to. Mostly the 5th year degrees are usually the more demanding ones, such as engineering or high physics and math degrees, the ones that usually take a lot more units than your average degree. Summer school can also get paid for as long as it's approved ahead of time to help, say, someone commission quicker than instead of doing 5 years, they choose to do summer school and winter school to make up for the time that it can be approved as well. So a big picture, BTC and ROTC work together. BTC is the interaction between all the different ROTC programs, It's like their day-to-day, the different things that they do, exercises, drills, interacting with other people going through the program. ROTC is that summer Navy side of things. The summer cruises are specifically, you can see some of those pictures there, are where students get to spend several weeks, depending on where they go, basically being exposed to the big Navy. They'll go stay on ships or submarines for days on ends, get exposed to that lifestyle, the crew, they get to talk to them. They get to go out at sea and see what happens in the Navy. So it's a good opportunity and good experience for them all to see what life, and it can help them choose where they might want to go as far as what field that they would choose to select it. All right, so this is the contact information if you have any questions as far as anything in general in the ROTC. Specific ones might take a little bit longer to answer. General ones can usually get responded to fairly quickly. Now, are there any questions from any other participants? Trying to see if okay. Okay, so I have a question that says, can you switch between Marine and Navy? The answer is yes. I don't know the specific time requirement, but usually it has to be done before junior year. There are exceptions that can be made as long as the proper people approve them. It can happen in their junior year, but it's usually definitely before their senior year. They need to be in whatever Navy or Marine that they want to be. So another one is a competitive PFT score for Marine applicants. I do apologize. I do not know the answer off the top of my head since the Marine PFT system is a little different than the Navy one. But if you send an email, we can get that response to you. Our Marine lieutenant, unfortunately, is out of town at the moment, but he will be able to respond to your question for that. All right, so another one, does Navy pay for transportation fees, that sort of thing, like parking on campus? Not that I know of, but that will be a question to ask. I've never been told that they do get paid for parking. Usually because most of the applicants and students live on campus for the most part, so they've never really had to pay, but most likely I would say yes, especially if they have to keep their cars on campus. But I'm not 100% certain. Okay. So is it easier to become a pilot in Navy or Marines? Really depends. There's no, I wouldn't say one way is easier than the other, since it really depends on what the Marine or Navy needs and how many applicants are that year. It can vary. Who are looking for? Between in-state and out-of-state, I am not sure of the comparison. If you send an email, just so for everyone, if I can answer your question, please send out an email to those emails, just so that even though I can't, other members of the staff can probably answer your question. Difference between being in NROTC and being part of the Corps Cadets. So Corps Cadets is composed of all the different branches of the military's ROTC program. So if you're in the ROTC, you're also in the Corps Cadets. They work hand in hand. So, and the difference is mainly Corps Cadets is more general military training and lifestyle, while the NROTC is adds in those Navy specific classes and other requirements for that branch of the military. So can you apply for Navy scholarships if you're being paid for using the GI Bill? I want to say yes, because I believe that the GI Bill is use it when you choose to. But so if you have other forms of financial payments and you can use that instead, then I'm 99% certain that you're fine with swapping to the scholarship. You just choose not to pay with the GI Bill, and then whatever you have after that. If you, yeah. How the scholarship come here from? Unable to access that. Okay, so if you're unable to access anything, again, contact the email. We will get the appropriate staff member. Since you're trying to apply for the U.S. Marine, we can set you up with a contact email for him. I do not have that off the top of my head, so just send out an email to that on our contact page, and we will get back to you. Okay, let's see. Okay, application for NROTC scholarship need to be submitted at the same time as application for VT. I do not believe they have the same deadline, but generally it would be a good idea. So VT's application is different than NROTC. They're a separate requirement. It's not like one is related to the other, but usually it's about the same time, and they can be done differently. So you don't have to worry about it. Try to do them at the same time. So JAG course, no, that is not part of the ROTC. JAG is a restricted line officer. Now, for some of the restricteds, it is possible to swap over to that at some point if you get accepted into ROTC. It is usually only happens a couple of times a year, if any. But it is possible. So if you're really wanting to go that route as far as JAG or any of the other restricted officers, I would not choose ROTC unless it's just something you're interested in. Opportunities to fly, not from the Navy standard. They might send you off during summer cruises to go visit some places where you, a squadron, to where they might take you up in the aircraft, but you would not fly. That would be you on your own. If you get picked up for pilot or anything like that, and once you go to flight school, that's when your flying would happen. Okay, let me see if I can get any more. Okay. So if you do not want to apply for scholarships, do you still apply for ROTC? So yes, you do not have to be on the scholarship to be an ROTC, but you do need to get picked up for one of those categories at some point in your time in ROTC before you graduate, even if it's just advanced standing. So you can't just be in the ROTC and that's it. So if you don't want to do it right off the bat, that's fine. And then if for some reason it doesn't work out, you can always leave, especially if you're not on scholarship, you won't owe anything. So. Program for preparing people for specific communities, so that while we might in general cover what each community goes into, we do not have any program specifically. That's usually handled by either volunteers or the students themselves as far as preparation for like instance special forces, physical fitness, things like that. That's handled at the student level. The ROTC program does not have anything official. Okay. All right. So if I apologize if I missed some of your questions, let me do a double check and make sure I got it all. So again, civil engineering is under the restricted line, so ROTC would not be a good choice if that's really what you want to do. So for physical training, COVID now is putting a little restrictions on that, but normally it's 2 times a week, usually about 5:30 in the morning for at least an hour for physical fitness. Yes, you can participate in clubs and teams while you're on campus. As far as how large NROTC group is on campus, that would be something to contact them directly and just ask. All right, I think there was one other question that I may have missed. All right, benefits of 4-year NROTC scholarship at VT. Well, basically, if you get a 4-year scholarship, think of it as like a full ride, especially if your program falls under that 4-year category. So schooling, tuition, books, uniforms, you live on campus, you don't have to worry about housing, everything that the Navy can offer, you get for 4 years. So all the benefits. Typical schedule for NROTC participants. So generally, usually morning starts off with drill, colors, they go to classes. After that, they might have specific Navy classes depending on the day. Pro Lab happens once a week in the afternoon. And then like I said earlier, a couple times during the week, they'll have group physical fitness in the morning. But majority of the time, it's similar to a college student living on campus lifestyle with just a little more added on. All right, if I haven't answered any questions, please share them now. Okay, uniform regulations. So whatever uniform that is provided to you, depending on the ROTC program, that is basically what you're going to wear throughout the day. When you can doff it in the evening, I don't know the specific time. Generally, it's when all the requirements as far as Navy participation, ROTC participation are usually done. And that can vary depending on the day. As of right now, SAT are not available in my area. Are they still required for the scholarship? As far as I know, yes, they are still required. Is there a program to prepare somebody for BUDS? No, there's not. There's a group of hopeful individuals for special forces that do extra PT on the side just for them. But that is something that they handle on their own. It is not something that the staff requires of them. Okay. All right. If there are no other questions, that is all I have. I'll stick around for a few minutes just in case anyone has any last minute questions. Summer cruises are usually happen towards your senior or second half of your college career, so after junior year, possibly after sophomore year, but usually it's around after your junior year, before your senior year is when you do your summer cruise. Okay, well, if there are no more questions, that is all I have. I hope you guys found this informative and enjoy the rest of your day.